Welcome to Quick Bites. Today we're talking about The Monkey 2025, the brand new movie from this last week. Is it worth packing in your lunchbox? Let's find out. I'm Bradley Butin, the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome. No time to waste. They never give us enough time to eat. I know it. I know. You know. All right, so the quick synopsis of this movie is when two brothers find a mysterious wind-up monkey, a series of outrageous deaths tear their family apart. 25 years later, the monkey begins a new killing spree, forcing the estranged siblings to confront the cursed toy. Ooh. All right. The creators in this this was directed by Osgood Perkins. Yes, the son of Anthony Perkins and the director of earlier 2024 or later, well, mid 2024, I guess. Long Legs. So good. So good. This is writing credits on this movie is Osgood Perkins and Stephen King. As stars Theo James, Tatiana Mazzolini, sorry I said your last name wrong, Christian Convery, Colin O'Brien, Elijah Wood, Rowan Campbell, Sarah Levy, Osgood Perkins, Tess Degenstein, Danica Dreyer, and Adam Scott, just to name a few. Let's talk a little bit about the scores. Okay, the IMDb rating on this one is a 6.5 out of 10. The Metacritic has this at a 62 for the Metascore and a 6.8 on the user score. Letterboxd has this at a 3 out of 5, average at 200 fans. Or Rotten Tomatoes is at a 79% on the tomato meter and at a 60% on the popcorn meter. So there we go. So this seems to be more in the middle to a little bit on the upper, and I highly agree with that. We'll see if any of these reviews that I cover is going to change my mind any. So let's go ahead and get right into that. We are going to start with the critic consensus from Rotten Tomatoes, and that is cruelly clever with some unforgettable gory set pieces. The Monkey reaffirms director Osgood Perkins' horror bona fides while revealing he also has a surprising, albeit sick, sense of humor. And you know what? I'm going to have to agree with the critics on this one. It's time to get into a bad review. This is a bad review from IMDb, and the author of this one is Roger Loves Movies. He gave this a 1 out of 10 and is titled Beware, Worst Movie Ever. Okay, and I've seen Pompeii. All right, let's go. My best friend and I chose this movie to accompany our popcorn and wine for girls' night. Roger Loves Movies? Okay, well, sorry. Sorry, did not mean to misgender anybody. We're going to start this one over, though. Beware, worst movie ever. My best friend and I chose this movie to accompany our popcorn and wine for girls' night. We turned down the lights, poured ourselves a glass, and we got underneath our blankets for what was sure to be a fright fest. Okay, so the first hour or so went by slowly. Scratch that. It went by really freaking slowly. All of a sudden, there is movement beneath the blankets. A tentative head emerges. Do you think something is going to happen soon? She asked me. Sure, I said. It didn't do too badly on IMDb, right? What was it? 6 out of 10? Something has to happen soon. Just watch it. I'm not going to lie. There were points in the remaining hour of the movie that I seriously considered walking over to the corner of my kitchen and banging my head silently against the cold brick wall just for some kind of mental stimulation. That's a little deep. Alas, we preserved and reached a point where there is a reveal of sorts between the characters. Lindsay and I sat bolt upright, and she reached over, clutching my hand. She looked at me, eyes shining brightly with hope and anticipation. This is it, she breathed. Something is finally happening. We turned back onto the TV, clutching each other, barely daring to breathe. Surely these last 2 hours of slow, monotonous, the monkey nonsense will be worth it. Surely The respected, intelligent members of IMDb wouldn't give an average but respectable score of 6.6 to this trash. The credits roll, and we sit back, looking blankly at each other through the sudden stillness. What a pile of garbage that was. All right, I think you're looking at the candy wrappers on your little end table there. Did know it was a home release that early, but I don't know, maybe you cheated. Maybe you did. I saw it in the theater. Let's go ahead, get into another bad review. This is actually a bad-ish review from IMDb. This is from Before You Watch, like the name, and it is a 7 out of 10, and is titled Worth It to Watch. The movie style evokes the classic vibe of horror comedy, with deaths happening in a way that keeps you on the edge of your seat. The film's running time is relatively short, but it does a great job of balancing both genres. Given a solid plot and chilling atmosphere, the opening narration immediately brings back memories of classic animated shorts from the 90s and early 2000s, reminding me of the tone of the movies like Final Destination, Chucky, and even the trap scenes from Home Alone. You know what? Yeah. The death scenes are particularly well done in a very natural and unsettling way. When it comes to special effects and makeup, it feels like a throwback to classic horror masterpieces. I was impressed by the music score and the soundtrack as well. Even though it's an R-rated film, there were a few moments where I thought the kids' dialogue were a little too rough around the edges. Perhaps they could have toned it down a bit. The humor in this film is definitely dark, with a nice mix of witty dialogue and visual funny moments. The way it blends dark comedy with shocking scenarios works really well and makes for some truly unique moments. Overall, The Monkey is a fun, light-hearted film that offers great entertainment. It's definitely the kind of movie you want to pick for casual escape, offering a good time without taking itself too seriously. Yeah, I dig it. It's time. Another bad review. All right, this is another 1 out of 10 from IMDb, and this is from Kirkwood CAS. Warning, spoilers, and this is called A Horrible Waste of Time. Visually stunning, but some of the worst writing and execution of the terrible lines. It was going for fun, quirky, and campy, but missed the mark completely. It was trying to have that playful, dark humor, but ended up being the worst movie I have ever seen. That is not an exaggeration. The entire theater was squirming to get out of their seats and go home. I physically had a second-hand embarrassment. It seems like they had a huge budget to do great lighting, atmosphere, and cool gore deaths, but the writing and line delivery made it very hard to watch. Would not recommend it to anyone. The plot itself had so many holes that they really tried to pull it together with an evil twin brother. They were going for the cheesiest movie ever, and that's what they made. However, there is a good, fun, cheesy movies, and there is what I just witnessed. I would normally never bother to write a bad review, but this is the first time I ever walked out of a theater and thought, can we get our money back? I don't know how many people are writing so positively about this movie. It almost feels like a stunt to see if they can make the worst movie ever made, so that people will talk about it for years to come at how bad it was. All right. Any good points in there? Did they call out anything besides the acting and writing? Okay. I don't see that, but let's see if the good reviews will balance this out a little bit. But if you agree with those bad reviews, you're going to have to let me know and let's talk about it. But let's go ahead and start some good reviews. All right, this is a good-ish review from Lee Stoich, and it's a 7 out of 10, and it's called Dark Comedy at Its Finest. I went into this film knowing very little, yet I was pleasantly surprised. I did not know it had so much comedic moments. but it worked as a perfect blend between the gory and serious parts of the film. I found the design and look of the monkey itself to be pretty creepy, and I dug the idea that it was some entity or godlike being. It was reminiscent of the Annabelle doll from the Conjuring series. However, I feel like the monkey brought a more menacing and brutal aspect to the spirit or haunt subgenre. I did enjoy the first act, probably the most, when our protagonists were teenagers and discovering their brutal powers of the monkey. I felt like there was a more emotional connection in the part opposed to the second and third acts once we got the time jump. The highlight of the film was definitely the comedy, gory kills, and production design. The film looked and sounded good. The main downfall was when the time skip occurred, the emotional connection was lost between the characters, and I wasn't as invested in the final act. Fair point. However, I'm saying this, I thoroughly enjoyed this dark comedy. It had some great horror moments and great kills. I'll be looking out for the kill count. And then they end it with 7 out of 10 drum beats. Yeah, all right. I dig it. 7 out of 10. I think that's about where I put it too. Let's do another good review. This is a good review from IMDb, where all the reviews are today. This is a 10 out of 10, and it's from It's TJ Bitch, and it's called A Nasty, Tense, and Brutal Horror Ride. The monkey isn't just scary, it's mean from start to finish. This movie rips with tension, pulling you into its nightmare and refusing to let go. Based on a Stephen King short story, it takes a simple, eerie concept and turns it into a relentless, blood-soaked descent into terror. The film doesn't waste time with cheap jump scares. It builds dread the right way, long, quiet stretches of pure anxiety before it slams you with horrifying graphic violence. And when it hits, it hits. The gore is vicious, but never over the top, just for the sake of it. Every brutal moment feels deliberate, like a cruel, inevitable, rather than mindless carnage. The cast delivers solid performances, and they truly make you believe the fear, the desperation, and the unraveling sanity. The cinematography and the sound design deserve just as much credit. This film looks incredible, and the monkey's cymbals, yeah, that sound will haunt you. There was no cymbals, though. Okay, anyway, if you love the horror, bleak, intense, and unrelenting the monkey delivers, it's not just another spooky doll movie. It's a nasty, unsettling, and expertly crafted nightmare. Not for the weak, but for the horror fans, this one's a must-watch. A little confused on the symbols part in this review, but it is what it is. I don't know if you really watch this movie or not, but, I mean, you had things in there. I agree with a lot of the things you said, but it's what it is. Be drum beats, not cymbals. They couldn't use the cymbal monkey because of copyrights or something like that. I don't know. I saw some articles, didn't read it. Let's do another good review. This is a final review that we're going to cover, and it's a good review from IMDb from YKJDLH. And they gave this a 10 out of 10, and it's called Fun Little Take on a Classic King. Warning, spoilers. I first read the story of the monkey in high school and thought it was kind of creepy. I also wondered what an expanded version might look like for a movie. This is that expanded version, and it's pretty creepy and a lot of fun. No spoilers. Well, you said spoiler. But anyway, no spoilers. But man, that last scene was like, whoa. Anyhow, a creepy antique monkey wreaks havoc on folks. Pretty simple little setup, especially when we are introduced to Theo James. When we are introduced, Theo James gets introduced. Okay, weird sentence. This is one of those horror movies that got a sense of humor too, but also kind of creepy at the same time. A wild third act makes this a memorable for me, especially with them cheerleaders. Yeah. Anyhow, this one is a bloody good time and a definite recommendation. Yeah. All right. Okay. So, do you agree with the reviews? Let's go do my Lunchbreak Point System. Let's see where I'm gonna put it, and see where if I'm in line with any of these. I think I probably will be. I'm more of on the good side of this one. So let's do it. The Lunchbreak Review Point System. This is my unique rating category with up to 5 points per category. We're going to start with the main course. Overall quality of this movie. I love the cinematography. I love the acting. And I love the story. It was good. It was good. I think there was some issues. Yeah, I mean, I think that the story could have been a little bit different. It kind of leaned into that comedy a little bit. So for that, it's not going to get a 5. A 3 would be decent, but not exceptional. Satisfying enough for the moment. I think it's more than that. I think you're probably right around the 4. Well crafted, flavorful, and fulfilling. Hits most of the right notes. I think a 4 is accurate. A 2 is for number 2 is supporting elements. This is the side dish. A 3 would be some solid moments, but inconsistent or overshadowed. Okay. A 4 would be complements the main dish well, solid support all around. You really, because of the time jump, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, I think I like the kids more than I like the adults in it. But both served his purpose. And the fact that the guy is trying to be a deadbeat, but still loves his kid, and they're trying to make that okay because he didn't want to pass anything on, but then wasn't really about that anyway. I don't know, man. I'm gonna give it a 3 on the side dish. A spice level, how creative and boldness. So this one's probably gonna go pretty high. So we're gonna start it off at a 3. Brings a little heat with some creative flair. Okay, I can definitely see all of that and more. A 4, be bold and unique with impressive execution. I definitely think it's bold. Definitely think this was unique and definitely was impressive. A 5 would be red hot creativity, a daring and unforgettable experience. Man, if I did a point system and I could do some decimals in there, I think I would probably rate this more like at a 4.3, 4.4. Because of that, I don't think it's going to get a 5. I think we're going to round it down to a 4. Leftover appeal. This is the rewatch replay value. All right, so will I watch this again? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess I probably will. But I don't know if I'll be searching out to watch it again. If my wife didn't get to watch it, and so if she wants to watch it, I mean, I'll be more than happy to get it. So I'll count on me watch at least one more time. So we're gonna start this at a 3. A decent option to revisit when you're in the mood. Well, I think that is right there. I think I just defined that, when I'm in the mood. So we're gonna give this a 3. I don't think I can get anything better than that. And for a 5, this is dessert. Emotional satisfaction. Okay. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I chuckled so much in this. Loved it. So we're going to start this at a 3. Sweet enough to end on a good note, but nothing remarkable. That is not even close. 4B leaves you with a smile, a well-rounded finish. You know what? A 5 would be a perfect treat, an unforgettable cherry on top. I'm giving this a 5 in dessert because that's what this was for me. This wasn't deep. It knew exactly what it was, and I like it for that. And I think you will too. So let's see here. We have 8. We have 19 points on here, which means that this is going to be the final verdict of The Monkey is solid and enjoyable, definitely worth checking out. All right. With all that, do you agree or disagree with my review? Listening at about a 19 out of 25, with all the critic reviews, the user reviews, all that kind of good stuff. Do you want to talk about this further? Why don't you go ahead and reach out? And where do we say we're at 18 minutes? This is a long, quick bites. All right, thanks for tuning in to Lunch Break Reviews. For more bite-sized reviews of your latest TV shows, comics, or blockbusters, follow and let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to leave 5-star rating and share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. Want to join the conversation? Reach out and maybe you'll be the next guest on Nerd Positive or Lunch Break Reviews. Oh, bye-bye. Have a good one.